Welcome to the C.S. Joseph Podcast. I'm your host, C.S. Joseph, and welcome. Today's question I am super excited about. It's funny because I actually did a lecture about this in the Cutting Edge last night on the Cutting Edge podcast. It is available to Journeyman members. To become a Journeyman member, csjoseph.life/members, and become a Journeyman and watch the April 2022 Cutting Edge lecture. It was excellent and very, very pertinent to the answer to this question, which is definitely multifaceted. And this question comes from a gentleman who has been with us on the channel since probably the very beginning of many years ago. So shout out to Devin for this question. It's great to still have you with us years later. Thank you very much, sir. So here's the question, quote, which types prefer being approached more directly for romantic and sexual interest? Is ESFP one of them? Okay, ESFP is not one of them. In fact, ESFP is the last one. They're like no. Like no. Or so I mean maybe they're tied with ESTP, but SE Hero is literally the worst. You are the most likely to be rejected if you actually approach them for romantic and sexual interest. It's just not going to happen. The reason why is because automatically, by default, they're going to assume that you're taking their choice away. Because it's like, well, I didn't choose you. Why are you approaching me? And their NI inferior is going to be mad, which is going to summon their NE demon, and they're going to immediately NE demon you. In which case, they're going to destroy your future, which means any other options that you have in the room, they're going to use their SE Hero to expose you such that all other potential sexual options that you had in the room, especially at the club, you don't have any options. That's how they're going to do it. So it's literally one of the poorest decisions to actually approach an SE Hero for romantic and sexual interest. ESFP is not one of them. They are on the bottom of the list with an ESTP. They choose you. They come to you. You don't go to them. You don't have a chance in hell with them. Nobody does until they actually have already decided that they want you. Now, if you want to learn how to actually do that, well, it's very easy. You just engage SE Hero. They value time served, time spent, attention give them. So you just shower them in consistent attention and give them special treatment over time. And then eventually they'll notice, hey, he's sticking around a lot. Maybe I want him. And then all of a sudden they're like, okay, yeah, I do want him. And then they come to you. That's literally how they work. It's, in my opinion, it's gross, and it comes off to me, because I'm an ENTP, it comes off as entitled to me. But, you know, I have an ESFP superego, so of course I'd naturally react that way. And that's just cognitive projection on my part. But if I'm actually being understanding, that's how they should be behaving. That's how they're supposed to act. Because NI inferior, you're not supposed to be taking NI inferior's choice away. And if you go up to an ESFP and just straight up ask them out for romantic and approaching them directly, that's not going to work at all. There's really only 4 types that are pretty safe-ish. Well, technically 2 that are the most safe, which are prefer being approached more directly for romantic and sexual interest, and those are the NE heroes, with ENTP and ENFP, and it being ENTP the most. ENTPs love being approached the most directly for romantic and sexual interest, the absolute most, okay? You're usually pretty safe, because ENTPs have SI pessimistic, just like an ENFP does. They don't really reject people. You see what I'm saying? And with ENTP having FE child, they're kind of pretty easy to obligate into remote romantic and sexual interest. And if you actually approach an ENTP directly for romantic and sexual interest and they turn you down, that means they have insanely high strength of character. Keep going, keep doing it. You'll probably win in the end. But like, the reality of the situation is that like that's a good ENTP if they refuse. And like, I actually had that happen to me just the other day. I had there's this ENTJ and ISTP girl that was on the side of the street, and I was outside smoking a cigar. I had just left the building. I was checking out some cards for sale in the case, and I came out of the building and decided to light up and have a smoke right there. And I was just walking on the curb, and the ENTJ came up to me like, "Hey, do you want to F my friend?" She's referring to her ISTP friend because they have highest professional compatibility relationship, basically highest emotional compatibility relationship. It's kind of like the reverse of the pedagogue. It's like the camaraderie reverse of the pedagogue, basically. So yeah, that was interesting. And my response was like, yeah, no, I'm not that cool. Like, yeah, no. And then like, apparently, like, all of a sudden it was revealed that the ISTP was high on shrooms at that moment. And it's like, yeah, no. Very flattering though, but yeah, no, not for me. No, not into that. And besides, like, especially like, me being a man, like, what if it's a setup? What if, like, someone's going to claim that I raped them, even though, like, there's so much risk there in that particular situation. # red herring. You know what I'm saying? But, that's a situation where you have an ENTP who is very aware of consequences and has had very bad experiences in the past with people approaching them more directly for romantic and sexual interest. But the atypical ENTP, who often does not really have much desire going in their direction on a regular basis, would definitely be down for as when presented an opportunity like that. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, definitely ESFP, no, not one of them, because they're going to have their choice taken away. That's a really, really, really bad situation. Any heroes are more likely. Now, the ENFP, however, because they're interest-based, you have to still get past their FE critic in order for them to be okay with you approaching them more directly for romantic and sexual interest. Because the FE critic's going to be like, okay, well, what are you getting out of this? What am I getting out of this? What's your interest here, etc. But the ENTP is so unaware of interest because they're triple systematic that they may just be like, oh yeah, let's do it. And it's like, okay, are you sure that's the wise decision? You see what I'm saying? When I was like a lot younger, like in my teens and early 20s, like, oh my god, dumbass right here. Like, I would have been completely unable to get out of those situations, or be completely unable to unobligate myself from having sexual activity with a stranger. It would have been horrible, absolutely horrible, especially given my past. And if you want to learn more about my past, watch the How to Social Engineer ENTPs episode in the Season 21 playlist here on the YouTube channel or on the podcast to learn more about that, so you can kind of understand what I mean. So yeah. But yeah, like, literally, it's any heroes prefer to be approached the most. And then also any child. So basically, extroverted, intuition, optimistic types love being approached directly. And then also introverted, intuition, optimistic types also love being approached more directly for romantic and sexual interest. So you can direct approach those, the NI heroes and the NI childs, the any heroes and the any childs. You could definitely direct approach those the most, and you're off to the races. That's 8 of the 16 types that really like to be approached. But the other 8, they're the ones who have to do the approaching, basically. So, and if you want to learn more about that, please watch the April 2022 Cutting Edge lecture episode for the Cutting Edge podcast that I did last night. It is in the members area, in the journeyman area. So csjoseph.live/portal, log into the journeyman area there and go watch it. We have 2 years of Cutting Edge podcast episodes just sitting there waiting for you to chew on top of the fact that we have many seasons of premium lectures behind our paywall, as well as a ton of other content. So, like, why not? Just go get involved and do that thing. So anyway, folks, thanks for watching and listening, and I will see you guys tonight.